Hey guys, welcome back to Maelstrom Gaming Studios. I'm Craig, and we've got a great video for you guys today. We've got the best list of the month for June. This is a week later than I normally do it, but with the 4th of July, we kind of pushed everything off a week. So, best list of the month, June has got 8. So stay tuned. We've got a great variety for you guys here, and 3 of them from the new detachment. So if that sounds good, and you want to stay updated on all of our content here at Maelstrom Gaming Studios on this channel, just subscribe. It helps us out. You guys get to stay updated on our content. If you want to support us a little bit more, there are memberships in the links down below. Various other things for you guys to check out and support us. Thank you to all you awesome members. With all that, let's dive into today's video. So we've got 8 lists to cover today. It's going to take a little bit, so let's just get right into it. We're going to start off with Vanguard Onslaught as we normally do. Now, this is Nathaniel Bjorge. I think we've had him on 3 or 4 times in the almost year of doing this series. So congratulations. I wish I had this much time to play GTs and kick butt on all of them that I go to. But yeah, I think you're working on some sort of Infinity Gauntlet as well here, trying to do it with all the detachments. He got 3rd at the Iron Cage SummerSlam GT. He went 4-1 at a 43-player event. He played Dark Eldar, Chaos Knights, Eldar, World Eaters was his loss, and then finished off with a win against Necrons. His list was quite crazy here. So he had a bunch of characters and then some other detachments or other data sheets. So he had 3 Broodlords, a Death Leaper, he had a Neuro Tyrant with Hunting Grounds, a Winged Hive Tyrant with the Chameleonic Enhancement, and 2 units of the Hyper Raveners. No battle line, like I said. For the rest of the detachment, 3 groups of 10 Gene Stealers for those Broodlords, 3 Lictors, 2 Neurolictors, and 2 groups of 5 Raveners for those Hyper Adaptive Raveners. Just simple and wild. So the Neuro Tyrant is probably babysitting the home objective. You've got 1 Lictor and probably 2 Neurolictors are up in the midfield doing actions, screening, holding objectives, things like that. Oh, Death Leaper probably is also there as well. The 2 other Lictors are probably coming in from Strategic Reserve. You've got the Flyrant just going around giving support. That extra stratagem discount is good for the Winged Hive Tyrant still, even if it is once per turn, not battle round. Sorry, once per battle round, not turn. And the Gene Stealers and Raveners, that's pretty much it. The Raveners move fast enough to catch up to the Gene Stealers. You're probably going to put 1 or 2 of the Raveners in Strategic Reserve. Maybe to, 1 or 2 of the Raveners in Strategic Reserve to benefit from that free rapid ingress that they could do. If not, you've got 30 Gene Stealers storming up the board, and then these Raveners just ready to punch whenever they get the chance. It's fast. It hits pretty hard. The Gene Stealers are fantastic at clearing all the 1 or 2 wound chaff. And the Raveners are really good at punching up in their weight class with the whole twin linked and sustained hits that they've got going on. Also, the stratagems in this detachment now with the Hyper Adaptive Raveners are really good. When you battle shock, you're going to probably be taking your tests at -2. Because now you've got all the Broodlords that give the Stealers Synapse, and all of the Ravener Primes that are giving the big Ravener blocks Synapse, or the negative effect of Synapse in Shadow in the Warp. And then you've got a Neurotyrant on top of that. So very, very good. Fun to see. I'm curious to see what the World Eater loss, what the list was. Because I feel like he's got the stuff to deal with World Eaters pretty well. That being said, I could see Berserker Warband, probably what was giving this a run for that money. The -1 damage that they have access to really hampers the Raveners, so he doesn't have a whole lot to deal with that sort of thing, other than just a sheer load of damage, 1 attack from the Gene Stealer. So all in all, still really cool to see it in play, and congratulations to your 4-1. Next, we've got one of our 2 Invasion Fleet lists. This was Connor Smith. He went 4th at the Sunshine Coast Open. 30 players and 4-1 again. He played Imperial Knights, Orcs, Eldar. Chaos Demons was his loss, And finally, Tyranids, he won the mirror match at the end. Characters, Broodlord, Hive Tyrant was his warlord with the adaptive biology, and a Neuro Tyrant. Battle line, 2 units of 10 Hormagaunts. Can't go wrong with these guys. They're fast, they can kind of screen, they can do actions. They're one of the only advance in charge, actually, they're the only built-in advance in charge unit we have, so they have the speed if they need to. Solid little guys. The rest, he's got a Biovore, 1 unit 10 Stealers for that Broodlord, the Lictor and Neurolictor, a unit of 3 Ravners, so this was an event where they were still using old Ravner rules, a unit of 6 Zoanthropes to go with that Neuro Tyrant, 2 Exocrines, 2 Maliceptors, and a Tyrannofex with the Rupture Cannon. So pretty standard invasion fleet list we're seeing here. The 2 Maliceptors are all about holding that center objective. Gene Stealers will move up the board, potentially killing some frontline chaff, causing some early game shenanigans. 1 unit of Hormagaunts will probably go move to the expansion objective and just hold that down with maybe the help of the Neurolictor. Ravners to do actions, and then you got our 2 best ranged units in the Tyrannofex and the Zoanthropes with the Neuro Tyrant there to provide some long range support, as well as the Exocrine. So solid list, pretty good. Congratulations on the 4-1 you have there. Our next invasion fleet list, this is Marco Esteban. I feel like we've had you on here as well before. First at the 2nd Iberian Open at Velicas. Is this Italian or Russian, or I don't know. Still, he went 5-0 against 37 players. He played the Emperor's Children, Chaos Knights, Eldar again, and Thousand Suns. His list again has the Hive Tyrant with the adaptive biology and a Winged Tyranid Prime. 3 units of gargoyles make up his battle line, so pretty good. It's been a while since we've seen that many gargoyles flapping around, but I do love to see it. The rest of the list, again, pretty standard. He had a Biovore, 2 Exocrines, 2 Lictors, a Maliceptor, a Norn, 1 unit of Tyranid Warriors, melee ones, and 2 Tyrannofexes with Rupture Cannons. So this is a similar thing where the Maliceptor and the Norn Emissary are working together on the center objective, making it really hard to shift. That Winged Prime and Warriors can also be good at helping support the center. And then you've got Gargoyles, Exocrines, and Lictors to kind of help out with your expansion objective. And then, of course, the Exocrines and Tyrannofexes are just laying down really good firepower at range here. So all in all, very solid list. Love to see the 30 Gargoyles. It's been a while, like I said. And congratulations to you on the 5-0. We then have a Crusher Stampede list. This was Thomas Harkestead. You at the Adeptus Bastardes 1. 31 players, 4-1. World Eaters, Blood Angels, Necrons was his loss, Death Guard, and Death Guard again. So congratulations not only on the 4-1, but going back-to-back wins against Death Guard, because that is tough for Tyranids in many regards. Though, when you look at his list, it's not necessarily that surprising. He had a Hive Tyrant as his warlord. He had a Neuro Tyrant with the Ominous Presence, something you don't see often, but that makes the Neuro Tyrant, if it is untouched, I believe this thing goes up to OC 7 or 8 even. So, again, if untouched, really durable thing. Otherwise, it's still OC 5 on an annoying thing to deal with. No battle line. Who needs them in Crusher Stampede? You got a Biovore, 3 Lictors for secondary purposes, a Neurolictor, don't see those too often in Crusher, 3 Exocrines, 1 Haruspex, 1 Maliceptor, 1 Norn, and 2 Tyrannofexes with the Rupture Cannons. It's a lot of long-range heavy firepower. Again, the Maliceptor Norn, a very good 1-2 combo to sit on the center objective. You're seeing it pretty common. It's been a staple in a lot of competitive lists. The Norn and the Maliceptor will help each other out because they're both 4-up invuln monsters. There are 30 wounds between them. The Maliceptor gives off that -1 to hit bubble if you're within 6 inches. So if you try to take these guys out in melee, it's going to be a little bit harder. And if you try to take them out at range, you've got 3 Exocrines and 2 Rupture Cannon Fexes sitting in the back line to try and counteract that long-range firepower. All in all, very solid list. Good to see Crusher Stampede still has some play, and congratulations on being Death Guard twice. Now we've got Assimilation Swarm, one of my favorites, if not my favorite one here, although the Subterranean Assault is rivaling that a little bit. We got David Bower here. He went second at the Goonhammer 2025, 5-1, 66 players. His opponents were Chaos Space Marines, Blood Angels, then Chaos Space Marines, Chaos Demons, Admech, and a loss to Thousand Suns. His list, Death Leaper, a good Elixir model with a little bit of extra bonus to him. A Hive Tyrant with Instinctive Defense, really great enhancement, love using that one. And then a Neuro Tyrant as his Warlord. He had 2 units of 10 Hormigons to move around, screen, do actions. Assimilation Swarm is notoriously a slow one based on the units it typically brings, but Hormigons are pretty quick in that regard. He had a Biovore, 2 Exocrines, 2 Harusfexes, a Lictor, a Maleceptor, a Psychophage, 1 unit of 2 Pyrovores, a unit of 2 Ripper Swarms, a Tyrannofex, and 6 Tyrant Guards. So obviously the Tyrant Guard going with that Hive Tyrant, they're going to go battle for the center of the board, whereas anything that tries to get into melee with them is going to have a rough go of it because these guys will get fight first, most likely. I'm assuming probably both Harusfexes or one Harusfex and the Maleceptor are going to work their way up towards the center, maybe throw the other Harusfex on the other objective. Only one Psychophage is interesting. I have typically liked to bring at least 2 in the detachments, but nonetheless, they're still in a different place now, so maybe you found you only need 1. But that Psychophage is huge. It really supports the Harusfex, the Hive Tyrant, the Tyrant Guard, and the Maleceptor. All of their melee profiles suffer from the AP1 or AP2, and that Psychophage Flamer, as long as you keep it alive, boosting everything's AP is really good. On top of that, it heals things because it's a Harvester unit. Really nice to see the Maleceptor in there because it'll be really loving the buff to healing every turn potentially there. So great list. Love to see Assimilation Swarm still doing well. And congratulations again, David. Now, for what you guys probably been waiting for, we have 3 Subterranean Assault lists to go over today. First one here, we have Monpetishu. Sorry. First at Boveron Games 2. 48 players and went 5-0. Necrons, Eldar, Imperial Guard, Leagues of Votann, and Thousand Suns were his opponents. He had no battle line, a bunch of characters, and a bunch of everything else. So he let it off with Old One-Eye, love to see it. A Swarm Lord as the Warlord for Malign Presence, or Lord of Deceit, I guess it's now called. We have a Neuro Tyrant, 2 Trigons. One of them has the Trigon Prime, and the other one has Synaptic Strategy, so pretty cool there. The Trigon Prime hits absurdly hard, and you'll see that as a common thing in all of these lists. The rest of it is a Biovore, a Neurolictor, 1 unit of 5 Raveners, so these guys were using the new Ravener rules, a unit of 6 Zoanthropes, very powerful detachment with the Neuro Tyrant, 2 Carnifexes with melee builds here, going with Old One-Eye. So they have, of course, Bioplasma and Spine Banks, because you can take those for free. But he went with Crushing Claws and extra Scything Talons. Very interesting. With Old One-Eye, again, full rerolls to hit. Full rerolls to hit. They are going to be doing pretty good in terms of their damage output because of that. And they can pop in through the tunnels and immediately make their charge. And if they completely obliterate something, they're already in your opponent's line. So if you try to shoot them, they are going to want to surge into the closest enemy thing, which at D6 plus 2 inches, and you're already in your opponent's front line, is probably going to get them there anyway. So it's interesting to see. I have gone back and forth wanting to try this out and whether to use full melee builds on them or full shooty builds. Because at the same time, popping up a ton of the Doc effects with giving them access to full rerolls to hit, sustain hits, and ignores cover can make the AP2 guns really potent in some regards. But I like to see the melee ones doing well here. We also had a Harusfex, a Maleceptor, and 2 Psychophages. So guessing probably one of the Psychophages also went with the Carnifexes, and one of them went with the Haruspex. Maleceptor is also pretty potent to bring into this attachment because, again, you go right in your opponent's front line and you give out that -1 to hit 6-inch aura that the Maleceptor has. On a 6-inch charge, you're probably going to make it in, especially with the strat to do a full bubble of reroll charges. This would allow pretty much everything to get in and to really hamper your opponent right from the get-go. So I love to see it. This is a great list. I've been looking at ways to try other things in the attachment, and I think I'm going to try these Carnifexes as my next go of it. So congratulations again. I love to see the list. Subterranean Assault number 2, we have Caillou Orellin, first at the Capital Clash 6. 45 players, and again, 5-0. We had Leagues of Votann, Imperial Guard, Tyranids, Death Guard, and the Sisters of Battle. Characters, we had a Hive Tyrant here with the Tremor Senses, and we had a Trigon with, of course, the Trigon Prime Enhancement. Battle line, 10 Termagants, probably had the points laying around, so good to have something to kind of sit around on an objective, do actions, something like that. Rest of the list, Biovore, 2 Exocrines, 3 Lictors for a lot of secondary shenanigans, a Moloch, a Norn Emissary, Psychophage, Trigon, and 2 Tyrannofexes with Rupture Cannons. So whereas the last list went pretty melee focused with a little bit of shooting support, this one is definitely much more shooty centric with a little bit of melee support. So I'm curious to see how he played the Norn. Did you teleport the Norn right into your opponent's line? Did you just set it onto the home objective right away? Or onto the center objective right away? Curious to see how you played that one. It would be nice to have the Norn just heal potentially 4 wounds a turn with the CP enhancement there. Maybe the Hive Tyrant's there to use that enhancement or that stratagem on you. I like the Moloch. Now, if you haven't seen our post or the video or FAQ update, the Moloch has been confirmed by GW to not do the Mortals when it arrives from a tunnel reserve. Meaning, if you arrive closer than 9 inches with a Moloch, it cannot do the mortal wounds. It still does mortal wounds at 9 inches away, and it spawns a tunnel, which allows other units to get closer. So it's not a horrible thing. I'm curious if Caillou, if you were playing the Moloch that way or not. I have been. Made perfect sense to me. There was no obvious rule that says I couldn't do it that way. Community was split, and now we know. But I do like it, and then, again, 2 Exocrines, 2 Tyrannofexes, very powerful shooting, and they have extra mobility in this detachment with the tunnel system. And finally, Subterranean Assault number 3, we have Dale Welton, second at the Auspicious Northern Showdown, 26 players, 4-1-0. So we played Tyranids, Dark Eldar, Blood Angels, Space Marines, and Votann. I don't know what his tie was. I did not see which one that his tie was. I think it was the Space Marines. But don't quote me on that. Still, he didn't lose. He had a tie. His characters were the Neuro Tyrant with Tremor Senses and 2 Trigons. One with the Trigon Prime, one with Synaptic Strategy. Battle line, 1 unit of Gargoyles and 2 units of 10 Hormagaunts. Very cool. Nice amount of troops. The Hormagaunts, again, as always, do the actions. The Gargoyles still can do a pop-in 6 inches away with their little, with the tunnels. They can still do that, and they can still shoot and move another 6 inches. So they can potentially, if you send them through a tunnel, get a little bit of extra distance on there. Great for stealing objectives and things like that. The rest of the list, Biovore, 2 Exocrines, 2 Harusfexes, 2 Lictors, Maleceptor, a Psychophage, Pyrovore, a unit of the 5 Raveners, and a Tyrannofex with Rupture Cannon. Again, Exocrines and Tyrannofexes, common as you'll see them, very good, and are really some of our most reliable firepower. Interesting. I don't know if you're not trying the Zoanthropes, you don't have the Zoanthropes. I'm curious as to your reasoning as to a Tyrannofex over the Zoanthropes in this detachment. But for reasons I've already stated, the Maleceptor is great to throw at your opponent right away. And having Harusfexes with the Psychophage makes their melee much more potent getting in there and allowing him to really mess things up with the help of maybe the Malice Scepter. So all in all, great list. We had a lot of lists this month who came in 4-1 or better, 5-0 or 5-1. Do we have 5-1? No, 4-1. We did have 5-1. I'm not crazy. We did 5-1 with the Assimilation Swarm. So a lot of great lists, a lot of smaller turns. Tyranids are still showing out. So I think Tyranids, their win ratio, I think, is sitting right now around the 49%. So we might have technically dipped a little bit since the recent changes. However, it'll be interesting to see how that goes for the next month or two. I expect it to go a little bit more back up. A lot of people are probably experimenting with the new stuff, the new changes, trying it out. Maybe things aren't as tuned as they will be, but give it a month to kind of figure out these changes, figure out the meta. And Tyranids at least have they have a wide codex and a pretty good way to adapt to most armies. We'll see if the Wrath of the Knights is going to start causing a lot of problems for Tyranids, because we do struggle with Chaos Knights and Knights, and with them getting some changes, Tyranids might be struggling that sort of matchup because it already was a hard one for us. But all in all, it's good to see a large portion of the detachments are doing well, and that's what you kind of want to see with a book like this. So thank you guys for watching. Congratulations again to all of you guys who have placed here. And if you are watching this video and this is one of your lists and you want to add any other color commentary down below, I will definitely be keeping my eye out for it. I'm sure all of you guys would love to see some as well. Again, I don't play these lists. I was not in the tournament, but as a Tyranid player who has played hundreds of games so far this edition, at many tournaments, I do my best to take the list I see here and how would I play it, and it's probably how they're playing it with some tactics and changes and stuff like that. So again, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time here at Maelstrom Game Studios.